Like, what do you think? You think they stand a chance? Well, you're on their side, aren't you? Who are you betting on,
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Look at these lies.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Even if one of them survives,
the only way to stop him is to make another movie.
Welcome to the Celluloid Mirror. My name is Sean, and I am a host of the podcast. And this over here is Nicole.
Hi, my name's Nicole. I'm also a host of this podcast, and we're here with you
to talk about movie films. This is another one of our shorter episodes. So hopefully we can tighten it up even more so than we have. So let's just end now.
Goodbye.
Bye. No, we're going to talk about what is it? There's something happening this weekend, Nicole, right?
It's my Super Bowl.
Your Super Bowl, which I assume has something to do with field hockey or lacrosse or something like that. I don't know.
It's Sanrio characters.
Oh, Sanrio characters. So it's like some sort of like octagon brawl with Sanrio characters. Is that what it is?
It's Sanrio versus Sanex. It's kind of like the American Baseball League and the National Baseball League. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like that, but it's Sanex versus Sanrio, and instead of baseball, it's like octagon. It's like a new kind of fighting. Okay. It's kind of like MMA, but more.
But more A
adorable.
Or more M?
Adorable. A for like adorable.
M-M-M-M-M-M-A. No, what is it really? What's going on?
It's the Oscars, Sean.
It's the Oscars.
It's that time of year when I say, I'm watching Oscar movies, and you say, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. I've tried in the past. I really have.
Nobody should try.
I'm going to try to watch them. And then I do, and I say, why did I do that? Not because they're all bad or I don't like all of them, but just because there's a lot of situations where I'm like, I can see why a thing was nominated and is going through, and I don't think it's a good reason. Sometimes I don't like them, and sometimes I just think that there are better things. And also, I'm just not awards oriented. I also don't watch the Super Bowl or other big things like that. Or
you
the
didn't
World
even watch
Series.
Bad Bunny on the Super Bowl. I watched Bad Bunny. I didn't watch any of the football. I don't even know who played. But like,
yeah, I don't.
I watch the halftime show if it's someone that I like. But I don't think I've ever watched a Super Bowl.
I have.
I'm physically incapable of like following the game. It's too boring for my brain.
Nobody follows the game. It's boring. Everybody's just, especially the Super Bowl. Everybody's just watching the commercials. Like,
I don't like to watch the commercials. They're assaultive to me.
People would invite me to Super Bowl parties. I say I don't really watch football, and they said, "Oh no, we just want to watch the commercials." I'm like, "You're having a party.
That's dystopian.
To watch advertising.
That's dystopian. I don't like it.
And I get like that they're fun and stuff, but also for the last 25 years, they've been available on the internet the next day. Like even before YouTube, they were on the internet the next day, and you could just watch them all there. So if like something was supposed to be really fun or funny, and I don't know, I'm not super motivated by it. So
also, some people like to be social. And
I
they're
like to be social, but then people get mad if I'm just being social, and they're like, I'm watching the commercial, and I'm like,
this is all so terrible to me. Yeah, I don't. Football's bad. We know him as one of your favorite films of last year, and not mine, but football's bad. Agreed. American football is bad.
Yeah.
international football, what we call soccer here, is good. Actually, soccer is not boring. That's a sport I'll watch. That moves
That's entertaining.
fast.
Yes. And they don't just keep stopping. Like, they keep stopping football. Like, every 2 seconds, they're like, well, we stopped. You made it 3 feet and you stopped.
You're
Like,
also
I
not
understand how the
basically.
game works. I just don't like it. Anyway, we're not
Also,
here to talk
soccer,
about
they
football.
don't contractually obligate you to get a TBI.
Not yet.
Okay, Oscars.
Oscars.
I
Talk to
am
me about the
awards
Oscars.
oriented because awards make me feel things. Sometimes they make me feel bad things, sometimes they make me feel good things. But, as a person who's dealt with a lot of depression and numbness in my life, as well as a lot of isolation and not feeling like I am part of the mainstream of society. That's why I love the Oscars, because for one evening, I am part of the closest thing to monoculture we have. I am a part of the mainstream conversation. I know what people are talking about. I have opinions. I even like some of the films nominated. It's a special experience for me. Some years I don't try to watch the movies because I'm like, I don't want to try to watch these movies. I try to be selective of the content I consume. I don't mean I try to have it always be good, but I don't want to waste my time. Like, I will watch some crap if I'm interested or it's
Mm-hmm.
fun. I don't regret watching any of the Oscar movies I watched this year, even though I didn't like some of them. I also wouldn't say every or anybody else should make a point to watch all the Oscar films unless they, like me, wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
As a fun activity that keeps me in step with humanity and not just an alien off over here, like unable to talk.
So, are there any that you haven't seen this year?
Mm-hmm.
What haven't you seen?
I mean, well, there are a few nominees I haven't seen. I'll be honest, I haven't seen most of the animated films. I
Well,
haven't seen
I guess let's
most of the
focus on like
docs.
the best picture, because otherwise
Best
we'll be here
Picture.
forever.
There are two Best Picture nominees that I have not seen.
Okay.
One that I very badly want to see and haven't seen yet because it's a priority. So I actually want to see it at a time when I can be focused and pay attention. That film is The Secret Agent. I've heard very good things
Mm-hmm.
about it. Haven't seen it yet. It's on Hulu. Other Sean and I have been intending to watch it. Maybe we'll watch it tonight or tomorrow night. If not, I'll watch that after the Oscars because I just want to see it. The only other Best Picture nominee I have not seen is F1. I do not have any intention of watching F1 because it looks real boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility I might put it. It's like streaming somewhere free, so I might like put it on while I clean the house someday or something, but I'm not going to sit down and focus on F1. It's just not happening. I've seen all the others. I like a lot of the others, a couple of them less so. How about you, Sean? What have you seen of the Best Picture nominees?
Let me see. Let me look at the list here. I am missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Most of them. I haven't watched most of them, so I'm missing 6 of them. I have seen Sinners, Bugonia, Marty Supreme, and One Battle After Another. The Secret Agent, I'm somewhat interested in. Hamnet, I'm vaguely interested in because Shakespeare's all right. Train Dreams, also vaguely interested in. Sentimental Value, vaguely. F1, I don't care. I've watched a lot of the recent fast car movies, race car movies, because that should be entertaining. It's fast car go fast. But they've all
No,
been kind of not interesting.
I
Like,
disagree. Fast Car Go Fast is not
I like fast
interesting
car
to
go
me
fast.
unless it's like on a rainbow. If it's Speed Racer, that's a
Well,
different
yeah,
story.
that's a different thing. But
But
they
like,
could be they could be interesting in that sense of like extending out like the perspective of like what's going on with the person inside the car and stuff. And also and just, it's it's a controlled car chase or whatever. Like it could be interesting. None of them have been, and they all feel increasingly like it's just an advertisement for gas-powered cars, and all these manufacturers just kind of going like, look, no, 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 we got cars. You shouldn't buy
cars,
electric because these are blah, blah,
America.
blah. Well, I mean, half of them aren't even America.
Doesn't
Um,
matter. It's American to
right,
buy
right.
cars that chug oil and then claim we're gonna have oil independence because that's a thing.
Mhm.
I think they could not be interesting, but that's for personal reasons because I used to have that job working for Nielsen where I had to write like quizzes to gauge viewer comprehension of product placement on TV
Mhm.
shows. And I would sometimes have to watch like NASCAR and stuff. I would have to watch
Well, that's
and
different.
it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't
So I
think
don't want to
NASCAR is
see
interesting.
fast cars go fast if they have ads on them and stuff. I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, I'm not even talking about those. I'm just talking about like in a movie where I've got a character I'm following and like there's drama, not like NASCAR where it's just like what, like 12 hours of cars going in circles.
And they just go in a circle.
Yeah, and
They don't
the
even
actual
crash very
thing is
much.
not interesting.
I agree.
So, but the movie potential is there. So, just like honestly, like boxing is interesting, but not most of the time. As a movie, it's interesting, but most boxing matches are rather slow and people trying really hard not to hit each other. Most of them.
Also,
Sometimes there is.
I mean, I don't know that we're the most athletically inclined podcast out there.
No, not in the least. So what is there any that you want to win? Is that a thing for you? Do you want one of them to win? Or are you just like, I just hope they all leave happy? I just want everybody to
I
have a good time.
I would like to see Sinners win.
Mm-hmm.
Sinners is my probably top movie of last year. There were a lot of movies I really liked last year, though. Like, I also really liked Begonia. I
Mm.
also really liked Marty Supreme. And I also really liked One Battle After Another. I honestly think all four of those movies are excellent, and I would not be upset to see any of them win. I would like to see Ryan Coogler rewarded for Sinners because I think it's such a feat that is an uphill battle in so many different ways that he really, I don't know, I'm so impressed with Sinners. And it's like just the full package. So I would like to see Sinners win, but I really like Begonia, One Battle After Another, and Marty Supreme. I also really liked Sentimental Value. I Those other four films resonated with me more, but
Mm-hmm.
Sentimental Value is very good. I don't think Frankenstein is one of the best movies of the year. I did like it. A lot of people don't. I didn't like the CGI in it, but I really like the Frankenstein story. It's a weird take on it that's a bit different from most of them. Some people really didn't like that, but I kind of feel like I want to see a lot of different takes on the
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein story. I think it can
There's a lot you can do with
sustain
it.
that. Um, Jacob Elordi's good. Oscar Isaac's good. There's some really nice set design also. Anyway,
Mm.
whatever. I liked
Yeah, it's
Frankenstein.
Del Toro.
Train Dreams, thumbs down from me.
Okay.
I I I bet the book is really good.
Mm.
While I was watching the movie, I kept thinking I could see this being a really good book, and this is not how you translate this to a movie. I was literally editing the movie in my head while I was
Mm.
watching it. I was like, nope, hold that shot. Hold that shot. Nope, nope, nope. Last five cuts, get rid of them. Just hold that fucking shot. Like,
Mm.
anyway, so that's what I'm thinking
Okay.
about the best picture nominees. I kind of think Ryan Coogler is gonna. I'm wondering if it's gonna be like Sinners or One Battle After Another wins Best Picture, and then the other one wins Best Director.
Maybe they do that
Everyone's talking like
sometimes.
those are the two front runners, but
Mm.
I feel. Tell me what you think. I feel after reading some of these anonymous ballots and stuff that are going around, the Hollywood Reporter will be
Oh
like,
yeah, I didn't
read
read them,
this.
but yeah, I'm aware of
Um,
it.
I think that there are more people uncomfortable with One Battle After Another than Oscar watchers are necessarily realizing, which is something I wondered about when I saw that movie. I was like, I feel like this movie is going to challenge some people. Um, And apparently it did, because like this anonymous voter in the Hollywood Reporter was like, I have friends to the left of me who think it's making fun of activists and don't like it for that reason. But then I've got friends to the right of me who think it's too far radically leftist. And so I understand that, that's a negative or something. And I'm like, did any of you watch the movie? But
I
um
mean, there's like a whole controversy around that there are Oscar voters who have conceded that they don't even watch the stuff.
yeah,
Like,
this Oscar voter said she turned off F1 after 40 minutes, and I was kind of like, I'll give you that one. She was like, I don't need to watch the rest of that. And I was like, okay, in this one case, I'm sure
I
you're
mean,
right.
40 minutes is still like that's enough to know if you're gonna if you're like, there are very few things that have turned themselves around for me at the end, and
Yeah.
it's usually in a bad direction, not always in a, like, usually I know I like something pretty early on. Occasionally there's stuff that at the very end I'm like, nope, nope, you just fucked it up, like it was fine and now it's terrible. Hitman comes to mind, the one with
Oh,
what's his
you're still mad. Who
Glenn
stars in that? Because I'm always like,
Glenn
oh, it's
what's his
that
name,
guy. Which one?
the Glenn Barbie doll
Glenn
guy,
Powell.
Powell, that's it.
There are
Glenn
all these
Powell.
actors that I don't really know who they are.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. I know he's in Twisters, a film I have not seen,
Hmm.
because I remember everybody was like, he's shirtless in it, and people in the theater clapped. But then
That's
there was no
most of his
sex.
thing. That's most of his thing, is being shirtless and stuff.
But then no sex.
Even the Running Man thing, like half of what he's doing there is because he stars in the Edgar Wright The Running Man, which is the most conventional Edgar Wright movie that he's ever made. Like, it's like the most like standard issue movie that man has made, which is disappointing. It's fine. It's perfectly fine
Is
as
there
an action
fucking?
film. No,
Nobody fucks in movies anymore.
no, not in these movies.
They do in Sinners.
They do in The
They do in
Bride.
Marty Supreme.
There's some stuff in The Bride, the new movie.
Cool. I will
Um,
see The Bride.
yeah.
Um,
That's one I have watched that, obviously is not up for anything, and from the response I see from a lot of people, probably won't be. So, also when it was released, a lot of Oscar stuff, mostly, I mean, Sinners being one of the outliers, but a lot of them mostly come out in the back half of the year.
Sinners, just to like me being so impressed with it, that's part of it. Is it they positioned it so well, right? Because it came out before the summer movies. It
Yeah,
came out in a relative dead time when the studios were like, okay, you can do your like historical epic vampire movie that's 3 hours long during, we're not going to release it on July 4th, but
right.
we'll do it here. And then it was one of the biggest movies of the year, and it's ended up getting the most Oscar nominations of any film ever, despite being released so early in the year. I just,
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think it's a combo of like it being released at a time where there's not a lot of competition. It's released also at a time where, I don't know, what, for the last like 10 years people have been talking about superhero fatigue. I mean, it's more blockbuster fatigue, broadly speaking, of people like, oh, it's another giant movie like every other giant movie. They just happen to be like comic book movies, or superhero movies. But it's by somebody who made two really good ones, with somebody who is a star of uh, one of those, who also like is a star, like Michael B. Jordan is one of the few y- actors around his age who's like a genuine like movie star, I think.
yeah,
Like, he shows up in stuff, he's Michael B. Jordan, he does a good job. And what Chadwick Boseman was doing, Michael, and now can't anymore, unfortunately. But Michael B. Jordan is, when he was on route to be that, he's a movie star.
yeah.
He's in a movie. He's not necessarily the reason it does well, but they do well, and he can carry a movie, and he has both the acting chops and enough of a name and media presence that it matters, um that he's in it, like,
I think it's
um
also instructive that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan also famously teamed up on a boxing movie that I did not find boring at all.
Right, right, right. Creed, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just I think Ryan Coogler is so much better than the vast majority of directors out there. If anything, I still think he's underrated, which is kind
Mm.
of a wild thing to say for somebody who does get a lot of accolades, but I'm like, he really brings it
Mhm.
to everything. And even like, what's the weakest film of his that I've seen? Like Wakanda Forever? He did not do a bad job with that film.
No.
That
I like
film
that movie a
had
lot. I rewatched it again recently. I really like that one. I know a lot
that
of other
film
people don't really
starred.
like that one, but I really like it.
And also, the star of the film died, and they had to, like, you know, rework the whole fucking thing,
Yeah.
that's the fact that it turned out as well as it did, I think, speaks very highly of Ryan Coogler.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts on the Best Director race?
Let
You
me see
haven't
who the
seen Sentimental Value or Hamnet, so you can't.
let me see.
I think
Well, the best
Joaquin Trier and
directors
Chloe Zhao are
are
both good.
Chloe Zhao. I've seen what's the other movie I've seen by her? I'm spacing it right now. What did she just do?
Nomadland?
I did
The
not see
Eternals?
Nomadland. I guess I did see The Eternals, but I didn't see Nomadland. And people hate The Eternals, but The Eternals was actually fine. Like I didn't hate it. As far as Marvel movies she made, honestly, she made one. It's not as good as Black Panther, but it's one of the few that's kind of in the same kind of like we're not just doing the same thing as the other ones in a lot of ways. Like there's
Right, there was a nice moment in Marvel for a couple of years. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna bring in directors who, like, kind of have their own thing to do their take on this material,"
yeah.
and that
And
only
yeah,
really worked for a couple of years, though.
yeah. And like it also completely depended on what sort of sub franchise they were handling, like how much they were allowed to get away with, because some people like James Gunn was able to do basically more or less what he wanted with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and it's one of the reasons why those are three of the most consistent. It's like the most consistent like trilogy in the Marvel movies because um, but yeah, it all kind of depended on how important the movie was, I think, to Marvel and how much freedom they let people have. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I don't think they were like, these do fine, but these aren't the things that we're driving everything with. And I think Eternals was similar. I think Eternals happened and she got to do what she did with it because of the success of Black Panther, probably. Um, but yeah, I need to watch the other stuff from her. I think I don't really know her other than that. Coogler, I've seen his work. I really like Coogler's work. I have not seen, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Trier. Um,
Trier,
yeah,
Joaquin
his
Trier,
first, what is it?
Joaquin.
Oh, that's how it's
I
pronounced?
think so.
I've seen,
I could be wrong.
yeah, it's Danish, so I'm like
I
not
think it's
sure.
Isn't it Norwegian?
Norwegian, Danish, something. It's that region. I don't know. They all look the same.
Scandinavian.
Uh,
Those
Softy,
are my people you're
I
talking
like his
about.
stuff. Uh, it's interesting. It's just the one of them. But I liked Marty Supreme. I thought Marty Supreme was really well done as a movie,
I have
and
a
Paul
sorry.
Thomas Anderson is fine. So I guess of the ones that I know, honestly, and what I've seen, I would lean honestly towards in terms of directing, Coogler and Softy.
Yeah, I would too. I would definitely lean Coogler though, because I'm mad at Josh Safdie right now because
I'm
I
sure he did something.
I read about brief sidebar. If you can look it up, I read about why he and his brother stopped directing films together,
Why is
which
that?
was about something that happened on the set of Good Time
Hmm.
that involved a producer who was basically a drug dealer trying to get into movies, got hired to work on the film. This is not an unusual situation.
No, that's
That in and of itself is not the problem. The problem is that this guy went and recruited like a 17-year-old girl to act in the film, not being clear with her about what the situation was going to be, and like was just like, "Oh, come, we're making a movie with Robert Pattinson. You can be in it." And this girl's like, "Okay." And like she had to do like this sex scene that she
I
wasn't
vaguely
prepared.
recall that part. Yeah.
Yeah, and like what I've read is like Benny Safdie wasn't there. Josh Safdie wasn't involved in like, recruiting this girl or misleading her or anything like that, but it was clear that something was wrong and he didn't just like be like cut. And he also did like he didn't basically afterwards he's kind of like, well, oh well, and Benny Safdie is like, what the fuck, you're a sociopath.
Huh.
And that's why they stopped making movies together.
Gotcha.
And I
Interesting.
was like,
That's
oh,
fucked up. I didn't. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
it sheds some interesting light for me on Benny Safdie's work over the past couple years, including The Curse. But that's neither here nor there. I will say Josh Safdie, I think, is a very good director, and I think Marty Supreme is an excellent movie. I've got my whole like new Jewish cinema thing of I was
Right.
like
Right.
excited about. Marty Supreme to me is like like an important, at least U.S. Jewish movie,
Right.
and I I think it's deeper than people think it is. I think there's actually a lot more going on than I'm seeing a lot of people picking up on. But I'd give it to Coogler. I just think he pulled off like a perfect hat trick and like give him everything.
Sure. It's a good movie. Is there anything else? We should wrap up soon, but is there anything else you've watched recently? I have a couple things I'd like to share, but is there anything else other than the Oscar stuff that you thought was really cool?
I'd like to briefly talk about a couple Oscar movies I watched that we didn't discuss because they're
Go
not
for it.
up. I also recently watched The Ugly Stepsister, which is up for Best Makeup.
Okay.
I still feel fucked up about that movie.
Mhm.
There are parts of that movie that keep coming back to me, not in a pleasant way. Um, it's good. It's a good horror movie. I don't know if I think it's that like great a movie, but like as a horror movie, are you gonna watch it? Or are you gonna be like, oh my God? Yes. So good.
Okay.
I liked Song Sung Blue.
Oh, I
I
like
watched
Song Song
that.
Blue. That was fun.
Thought that was good. I saw If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which I had a very, very complicated reaction to.
Mhm.
It's really well made. It's really well acted. But there were like some thematic elements that did not sit right with me, specifically around the way the daughter of Rose Byrne's character is portrayed. Because she's the parent of a disabled kid who
Okay.
eats through a feeding tube. And the way that plays out in the film, I don't even have a take on it. I'm not even saying like this is bad. I'm saying it really disturbed me and I haven't sorted through my feelings about it. There was a way in which it felt very scary to me, let's just say, in this age of
Mhm.
popular eugenics and people not realizing how they are being little eugenicists. That was troubling to me. There was also an abortion like plot point that
Mhm.
in this age of criminalizing abortion was also disturbing to me. But also, I really like movies about women who are complicated, full people and not necessarily quote unquote sympathetic or might even be quote unquote bad mothers or things like that. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that messy, difficult stuff. And also, I'm very scared about eugenics right now and
Yeah.
reproductive autonomy. So, also, oh, voice of Hindra Job, that's up for best
Okay.
foreign film.
Yeah.
That I would tell you, that is one that I would say, if one feels up for it, you should watch. There's the political element,
Mhm.
but there's also just the formal filmmaking element. It's a really innovative film in terms of its how they did it, and I think they did an amazing job. And so, just as a director, I
Mhm.
think people should watch that. And also, I think people should fucking watch that if they're not already painfully familiar with that story. So there's that. I'm also going to throw out a recommendation. Maybe I'll give you a link. We can put it in the show notes. I'm going to quickly rec a short documentary I saw recently that was shortlisted for the Oscar short doc
Mhm.
nominees. It did not get nominated, but it's excellent. It's called We Were the Scenery. It's a short documentary about some of the extras from Apocalypse Now.
Mm.
If you want to hear some funny shit talk about Francis Ford Coppola, this is a great movie for you. It's a great movie even if you don't, but I recommend that. We Were the Scenery.
Mm.
How about you, Sean? What have you been watching?
I've been watching stuff for school, which is mostly not watching whole movies, but sampling like stuff because I don't know if I talked about it when we did this last time, but I've started going back to school. I'm in the screen studies program at the Fierstein Graduate School for Cinema at Brooklyn College, and so I'm part time, only taking two classes. One is on low and no budget indie film, and the other one is basically history of film narrative. So it's kind of a survey of narrative film for the last 100+ years. So a lot of like the professor I happen to have the same professor for both. Rather than him saying like watch one thing as an example, we're watching. Um, he recommends watching 10 minutes of it's about 5 or 8 films depending, so we can get a sample of like what are the stylistic things that are coming across them. Occasionally, I've been watching like full movies from that. And this week we actually in class we watched all the way through a couple of things, but part of that was I rewatched for the low budget class. I rewatched Clerks for the first time in like maybe 15 years. I appreciate it a lot more than I did even like 15 years ago. I was able to honestly like watch it past the dialogue, which the dialogue was always and the acting is always kind of eh with it. But so much more of it is like the way it's edited and the way he shoots it is actually like quite well done. And he's very good at, or he was very good at that time. And I think in subsequent films that he did right afterwards, at the using the edit to like tell a joke. Somebody says a thing and then the edit cuts to something that like makes a joke about it or contradicts what the person's saying. It does a really good job of that as opposed to just sitting in the dialogue exchanges, which is mostly how I remembered it and still a lot of what it is and a lot of what his later movies were. But that's also where a lot of other films, especially comedy films, landed in the years since that came out. But I enjoyed it a lot more. I thought it was a lot more interesting, I think, probably than even the first couple times I watched it. So that was nice. That's probably maybe only the third or fourth time I've watched it, maybe. Um, and then caught up on a couple things that I haven't seen. Well, excuse me. Other than that, for class, watched the Mexican melodrama The Pearl, La Perla, which was really interesting to just see this 1940s Mexican film. The Passion of Joan of Arc, which I've been meaning to watch for a long time, the 20s film.
Oh my
Uh,
God, yeah, that
I
I
just
mean,
never got around to it. And now I'm like, oh, well, for class, I'll watch the thing. So,
you remember that Joan of Arc thing we did
yeah,
in 2015.
yeah,
Mhm.
I know. Um, and so yeah, so there was the one the there I had that context. I was aware of it, and I've been aware of the film. It's just one of those like, okay, I'm aware that that exists, but wasn't motivated to watch it necessarily. But then there was another one for the low budget indie that's from 2015 that we watched that I thought was really good. It's very simple, which is nice. It's called The Fits, and it's about this young girl. I think she's in Cincinnati,
Oh, the
and
recent movie, The Fits?
yeah,
I fucking love that. Have we not talked about that
no, I
movie?
don't think we've talked about that movie
That was like one of my favorite movies of the year when it came out.
in 2015.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that movie.
yeah, it was good. So for people who are unaware of it, I had never heard of it before, so no, we've never talked about it. She starts off, she participates in boxing with her older brother, and then she wants to get involved with the dance team. She gets involved with the dance team, and various older girls and other girls on the dance team have fits. They have what do you call it? Seizures. And that affects the team while she's kind of learning to dance, and it follows her as she gets better at it and she makes friends with these other girls. Um, And it's mostly all just in this gym and boxing gym or community center, wherever it is. Most of the film is there, and sometimes outside of it. There's very few other locations, which is interesting. It's a very quiet film. There's not that much dialogue. There's a lot of scenes that are quiet. There's a lot of oneers. It was very interesting from a low budget like filmmaking perspective, and I really liked how simple it was. You know, they were able to carry the whole movie just around this girl, and I think it's interesting for what it was trying to do. What are you
I
gonna say?
saw a few years ago that there was some like online screening of it with a Q&A with the director and some other
Okay.
people involved afterwards that I watched, and I'm unfortunately not remembering any choice anecdotes to contribute, but yeah, maybe we could do that actually on the show sometime because that I haven't watched that in a few years, but I've seen it a couple times, and when it came out, I thought it was really special. I
Yeah,
really,
we
really
could.
liked it.
You know what would be an interesting pairing with that?
Creed?
Or actually, I was gonna say ginger snaps because they're both about.
Mm,
They're spoiler. The Fitz is about getting your period. Uh, kind of. It's about a
kind
lot more
of.
than that, but that's what the I was watching it and I was like, oh, the seizures, like the way that's happening, it's kind of about like that shift in a girl's life from a certain way that she interacts with people and her brother, and then kind of becoming one of the girls, so to speak.
I think that's
So,
a totally supportable read. I think it doesn't have to be
oh, it doesn't have to be.
specifically that, but I
Yeah.
think it's about adolescence, right? And
Yeah.
it's about a lot of stuff. It's about a lot of intangible aspects of group belonging, for
Yes.
example, and how it feels to be that age. But yeah, The Fits is a great film. It looks like it's on Tubi right now, so watch that movie, everybody. If you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
it's short too. It's like 70 minutes long or something, as I
Yeah,
recall.
it's tight. It's
Gets in, gets out.
and which, it looks like it's on Tubi and Pluto right now. So those are the things I've been watching for class. Of new movies, I've seen Send Help and The Bride. I seem to be in a minority that really likes The Bride.
A few people like
I
it,
I think
like a
it's a
lot.
yeah, I think it's a weird movie that like I get why some people don't like it, and the way that it's being weird, or the way that it's sort of playing in the with literature and stuff like that. And it's definitely like an imperfect movie. There's definitely stuff in it where I'm like, I see how you think you're doing a thing, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and that's fine. Like, I don't necessarily think that you're. I think that maybe there's stuff because I saw some people commenting on this. Maybe there's stuff where it's like she really thought she was doing a thing, and I'm like, yeah, I can see how you're trying to do that. I don't think you're necessarily being successful with it, but it's fine.
Like
Send
what
Help
kind
is
of thing?
just stuff about there's a very, very, very um there's no way to describe it other than just tell you what happens. At one point she's literally screaming me too, me too, me too over and over again.
I heard that she yelled "Me too." I didn't know she did it over and over again,
It's
but I
it's
was like,
it's
"Ooh,
it's in a it's I mean, the way she's doing it in the context of how she's doing it, I'm like, I see what you're doing. You're doing that. That's your thing. Fine. Like it's very like who Maggie Gyllenhaal is and like where she's existed in society and culture for the last 25 years. I kind of look at it and go like, yeah, that's the kind of take she's going to have on this, or the kind of thing that she's going to think she's saying a thing. Okay. I'm much more interested in everything else about the film, and also I think she's accomplishing doing that thing that she was trying to do in that moment better with the rest of the film. Um, in a lot of ways. So there's that. I thought that was, I enjoyed it for what it was and how it was weird. I love The Bride of Frankenstein, the 30s movie,
no, it's
and the
amazing."
way that this interacts with that movie is great as far as I'm concerned. I would put the 30s Bride of Frankenstein well above this one, but it's excellent. I love it. And I really like Send Help. I think it's one of the better, if not it's one of the better Sam Raimi movies. Like, it's probably the best thing since uh, I've seen of his since he started getting budgets, basically. It's no Dark Man. No, I'm kidding. But I really liked it, and but one of the things that I did, one quick weirdo movie that my wife Jess and I stumbled across, Strawberry Mansion.
Hmm.
It's about an IRS auditor who comes to a lady's house. It's set in a future where they tax you for stuff in your dreams. So he's got to audit her dreams. So it gets weird, and it's fun. Um, it's a little bit more complex than that, but it's good. But we also have been seeing references to, especially online, The Road to El Dorado and The Emperor's New Groove for like 15 years or more, especially like back on Tumblr and stuff like that. People were always posting GIFs from them. Never seen those movies. So we ended up watching those back to back. The Road to El Dorado was really fun. And The Emperor's New Groove was fine. But yeah, I actually realized watching The Emperor's New Groove that from all of the things I'd seen online, I had assumed two characters were the same character. I was like, oh, that's the same character in different outfits. No, and they don't even really like in the film look that much alike. But I had just confused them.
Hmm.
It doesn't really help that they're both like large characters, and one of them is voiced by Patrick Warburton, and the other one is voiced by John Goodman, who both have those kind of deep voices that
Hmm.
like Patrick Warburton, obviously like great in lots of animated things, his voices in a lot of things, but also sometimes like in terms of like status of like star and things, I feel like if I couldn't get John Goodman, I'd get Patrick Warburton, unless I was going for Patrick Warburton first in the first place because he's Patrick Warburton. But like, so you have the two of them. It doesn't help in the characters a little bit. But anyway, we saw those. There's other things I've seen, but that's the stuff I wanted to talk about. Those two movies were fun. I would suggest The Road to El Dorado first, especially because apparently it was supposed to be a more adult film, not like an adult film, but a more adult film. And then after The Prince of Egypt, they were like, we need something lighter, make this more fun and kid friendly. And it still has like little bits that are not so. Um, which I think is kind of good for it. I think it probably would have been better if at least some of it, they'd left it being a little bit more adult, because it's, uh, and it's a good cast. It's Kevin Kline and what's his name, Shakespeare guy, Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, it's
So
like Shakespeare guy. I'm like Paul Mescal. Like,
no.
I have a quick rec,
Yes.
which is 1932's High Pressure, starring William Powell. It's on
Okay.
Criterion Channel right now. He plays a guy who's like pretending to be the owner of this company that has invented a way to turn like raw sewage into rubber,
Okay.
except it doesn't actually exist or work. And
That
the
doesn't sound like
guy,
anything current.
this is the more things change, the more they stay the same wreck, is what
Hmm.
this is. There are actually a few of these on Criterion. It's like called like it's the Gold Diggers and something
Mm.
collection, but it's some pre-code stuff.
Okay.
And interesting thing about these like early 1930s movies that are like recode that like because it kind of got
Yeah.
rolled out over time, and there were things that didn't subscribe to the code and did at the same time until
Yeah.
everything had to. Like, I'm just like, we are just in a fucking loop with more technology. We are
Yeah.
just doing the same shit over and over, and I don't understand why people think the economy can possibly recover before it gets so much worse. I'm starting to think economists don't actually study the economy or what has happened with the economy ever.
The economy is like psychology, where it's like you can apply certain principles to it, but it's not really that consistent.
Maybe even more
And
like astrology.
they're mostly making it okay, astrology, but also I'm not gonna. like astrology, economy, psychology. It's all the same thing. It's all just like we think that this is going to happen, but it's all it kind of works sometimes. Um,
I feel like psychology, though, very imperfectly updates with the times.
oh yeah,
They meet every so often and they say things like, hey, Asperger's syndrome isn't actually a thing, for example.
yeah,
Some people are real mad about that. I'm not. But now I feel like I need to explain. I'm not because I'm in favor of broadening the autism diagnosis, not
right, right,
because people who were, diagnosed with Asperger's don't have a disability.
right,
But Hans Asperger was a Nazi
right.
and created Autism Light to try to prevent a few of his favorite patients from being exterminated by the Nazis. Anyway, let's not talk about that now. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Psychology, they seem to sometimes take information in and update, and psychiatry, which are not the same things, but are very
They're interrelated.
interwoven. Whereas the economy, I feel like I am literally hearing the same like sound bites that I've been hearing my entire life.
Hmm.
And people are defending economic systems as being the best that aren't even what we have right now.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I'm like, again, like, I guess it wasn't you I was talking about this too, but that episode of Buffy where everybody gets a like, I think Willow does it. They all get a like amnesia spell on them except for Spike. It's in season 5. And there's
Vaguely, I
this part
recall.
where
Yeah.
like they're trying to find Ben and Glory, but
Mm.
everybody has forgotten, spoilers for Buffy season 5, that Ben and Glory are the same demon.
Right, right, right,
And
right, right.
Spike shows up and he's just like, so we got to find Ben. And they're like, yeah, he's probably with Glory. And he's like, Ben is Glory. And they're like, yes, Ben and Glory are brother and sister. And he's like, no, Ben is Glory. Glory is Ben. And they're like, yeah, they're probably together. And, at a certain point, Spike is just like, are all of you very stoned?
Hmm.
This is me every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And on that note,
Yeah, I think so. Oscars are happening. You have opinions. I have some opinions. Most of which being like, it'll be over in a couple of days. And I won't have to hear about it for another year. Uh,
I'm going to watch and we'll see what combination of crying I do because I'm happy to see people achieve their dreams and there's music swelling, and what percentage of crying I do out of absolute rage and despair at the state of the world. Because I will tell you, when we watched the Grammys, I made some really good chili, my rage chili. I kept having
mhm,
to leave the room in rage and go like put some spices in the slow cooker and be like, all right, and then go back out. And these motherfuckers who are too fucking cowardly to say anything, but like Bad Bunny has to be the one to say something about ice. Like, fuck
yeah.
you. Sorry.
No, it's
I don't like
yeah.
cowardice. I don't respect it.
Well, you're always going to see that at these awards shows because the awards shows are. This is one of the reasons why I'm not that interested in them. Like, they are for celebrating the work of the large corporations that are profiting off of all of this.
And I am probably a bit more masochistic than you are. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I
I
know I'm
mean,
doing it to
to be
myself.
clear, like I'm very happy for people who win. I am. It's not that I don't care that they win or not. Like I'm like very happy for people who win. People put in a lot of work into what they do. I just don't need to see it. And it's like how I also don't get that wrapped up in like sports for me. Right?
No,
Like I
no.
have the teams that I'm interested in, but I have no emotional connection to whether or not they win or lose. I'm like, "Oh, that's too bad you lost." Uh, I'm excited for you when you won, but then I forget about it.
You know what I'm mad about?
You know what? Would you like a list? Hold on. I might need a couple of days. I'm gonna have to do some research. About 40 pages of it.
That's the abridged version.
That's the abridged version.
Nobody should care about the Oscars unless, it is enjoyable for one to do so, which right now it is for me. However, one of the many reasons why we're all doomed is Polymarket. All this shit has made it so it's not even fun to bet on the Oscars anymore.
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah.
used to find it fun to, sometimes I'd try to predict the winners, sometimes I would bet just, and when I say bet, I don't mean for money, or if it was like $1 or something, not, but it was kind of fun just to make predictions. It's, and have the bragging rights of, oh, I was right. And like now, I don't even want to like bet with Sean on what's going to win because I just feel so nauseous with how
Yeah, how that whole thing has
this
become.
stupid shit is going to. And on that note,
And on that note, all right, we said I vaguely suggested we might be shorter, and we definitely were not. So it happens. Whatever.
it happens.
We'll see we'll see if who wins, and hopefully we'll do this sooner, maybe with less of a gap than last time, and or this last time, and we'll see people later. And with that, say goodbye. Bye.
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 The Celluloid Mirror is a production of 4 Mile Circus and is hosted by Sean Mannion and Nicole Solomon. Learn more at 4milecircus.com. To keep up with the next episode, make sure to subscribe and click that button to get reminders. You can also join our Patreon at patreon.com/4milecircus. All the links are below. Our opening and closing music is Twisted by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his music at incompetech.com.
I ended up in that hall of mirrors. There was another girl. She looked like me. Exactly like me.
Can you come with me in my dreams?
That'll do, baby. What happens when the story dies? The evil is set free. I have to return some videotapes.